One of the most memorable moments from Jackson's confirmation hearings, U.S. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey, a member of the Judiciary Committee who applauded Jackson for her historic nomination and her path to getting there. His speech was so moving, it brought Jackson to tears. I spoke with Senator Booker this afternoon and asked him what's the bigger meaning of this confirmation for him and for the country.
I'm overwhelmed with just joy right now. I cannot tell you what this means to see this nation continue to bend the arc of the moral universe more towards justice. It's a day that I could feel the energy from our ancestors, from the Ella Bakers and the Harriet Tubmans, the Constance Baker Motleys, to the Sojourner Truths, all the Black women in this country who helped this country be who we say we are. And I tell you, it's for me, it is one of those moments that I got to, thanks to New Jersey, be up close and even participatory in history. So I'm overwhelmed. I'm emotional. I cannot tell you the joy that I feel and the sense of celebration.
Yeah. So what does this say to especially young people who are watching all this and understanding that all of a sudden someone who looks like them and is their gender is going to be a member of the Supreme Court?
I mean, it is going to have the most powerful effect. I remember coming back to Newark when I was a mayor and just used to ask kids all the time what they wanted to be when they grew up. And so often I'd get from little boys, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a football or basketball player. But when Barack Obama ascended, I heard for the first time kids telling me that they wanted to be president of the United States. Well, she's going to have that same impact. She's going to plant seeds of dreams in kids' hearts that are going to reap a harvest for this nation beyond what we can fully fathom. There are going to be a lot of inspired kids to go into the law, to be lawyers, to be public defenders, to be judges, to be Supreme Court justices. You were quite emotional when you were sitting there during the hearing as a member of the Judiciary Committee, and you laid out some of what you just talked about, but in a long, uninterrupted by an anchor period and process. It was so emotional, and it was clear to anyone who either knows you or doesn't know you that this was coming from someplace far deeper than just political affiliations. Well, there's a hurt that I think a lot of people feel, and these are days that hurt heals a little bit. And you had all of these generations for the whole history of this country who, not famous names, but everyday people, as Sly and the Family Stone would say, who have suffered insults and injuries, have been discounted and disregarded or degraded, and by powerful people who often didn't even see them, and so many people understand what that feels like, to be belittled, to be looked down upon. And so I just think a lot of us during those hearings were feeling that pain, those of us who've been treated that way or assumptions were made. So I just felt a lot of that pain during that hearing. And every time I looked at her, I got a little overwhelmed because she was a triumph over that. She was a woman of great victory already. And I think today you saw that victory has come to fruition, not just for her, but for so many of us.
One more question along this line, Senator. One of the things that really struck me and that will stay with me for a long time is the effect her parents had on her father had on her, and with the example he set when she was a kid, and she remembers it, him working hard at the dining room table with all the papers around it, and that message. I wonder if it didn't just affect the children, let's say African American children in this case, but also parents, to say, hey, you know what? You really can have an impact on your kid.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes of all times is by James Baldwin, who says, children are never good at listening to their elders, but they never fail to imitate them. And we learn so much from our parents. We absorb so much. And I hope that people saw all those parents who are struggling, all those parents who have to make difficult choices every day. I loved when she talked about being an imperfect parent, but she was perfect in her imperfections, and her parents were as well. And I hope it gave heart to a lot of folks who are in the struggle, who don't realize that when their kids watch you, struggling and finding a way out of no way, you're building within them heart and grit that will pay off for the rest of their lives.
It's a big day for the country. A big day for Cory Booker as well. By the way, you can see my full interview with Senator Booker this Sunday morning on Up Close at 11 o'clock on Channel 7.